spent a long time, 35 years or more, working in television, radio, newspapers, that type of thing. And when I set up my own company, MediaView, about 13, 14 years ago, and I still do public relations and media tips. We do video newsletters nowadays because people are getting bored of reading text. We've moved on that as well. But I only mention that because you say that the Business Growth Club is 10 years old. When MediaView reached 10 years, reached a decade, I said to my wife, in your wildest dreams, do you think that the business would actually still be running, still be flourishing after 10 years? And she said to me, in my wildest dreams, you don't exist. So, you know, that put me in my place. So that was her PR, that was her message. Well, I start off really by saying very quickly what PR isn't, what it isn't. It isn't the dark arts. People say PR, they think of Alistair Campbell, they think of all the nastiness, the grey areas. Max Clifford, bless him, wherever he is. All these things that you think about, that's a separate world. In our world, in the real world, it's completely different. And I'll give you a couple of examples as to what I'm talking about. If I take a camera out and I point the camera at you, what's the first thing you're going to do? Smile. You're going to smile. Why do we smile when we have our pictures taken? It's because we think we're looking our best. It's as simple as that. And that's what PR does for your business. It puts a smile on your business. It gets your business to show its best face. And another little example.
Work for lawyers.
Even lawyers. We think about squirrels and rats. We love squirrels and we hate rats. And yet they're exactly the same. They're vermin. They're horrible things. But thanks to Beatrix Potter and Hollywood cartoons and the fluffy tails, we love squirrels. And we still hate the dirty rats. So you might say that a squirrel is a rat with good PR. It's as simple as that. So I hope that gives you an idea of what the real world of PR is. But quickly moving through these tips. I've got awareness down at once because it's what you are, it's who you are, it's what you represent, it's how interesting your business is. And that's the message that you've got to try and put across in all areas of your everyday business life. Your message is the key. We all have a story to tell. We love stories. All of us love stories. We resonate to stories. We remember people when they tell us the stories. And it's a fantastic way of getting your message across. And people say, well, I haven't got a story. But we've all got a story. I mean, I'm sure we've all got experiences of talking to people and they'll say to us, oh, I didn't know you did that. There's your story. There's your story. We've all got a story to tell, and that's what we've got to get out there because it is of interest to other people. Because we do it every day of the week, we think it's not of interest to anybody else, but take it from me, it is. We've all got a story to tell, and that's what we've all got to realize what it is and make sure it gets out there. Moving on to number 3, your target audience. So who are you going to tell this story to? It's very important that you're communicating, you're listening, you're talking with the people who you want to do business with. Making sure that your clients and future clients know who you are and what you're doing. You can have the best business in the world, and I'm sure we all have, but if nobody knows you're there, it's going to go bust. So it's very much important of getting that business in the right place, your target audience. Whether it's newspapers, television, radio, the local magazine, you name it. I'm sure there are ways and means you know how your business communicates. Social media is important here, and we'll touch on that briefly in just a few minutes' time. And it's that public image that comes across too. What is the public image? What is the image you're trying to project of your company? We worry a lot, don't we, about our logos, our letterheads, this, that, and the other. But when you're running a small business, I guess most of us here are running small businesses, our faces, we're the most important part. We are the public image of our business. And sometimes we forget that. We go to meetings, presentations, and perhaps we're not dressed the part. Now, I'm the only one here. Oh, I'm Mark. Mark's got a tie on. I'm wearing a tie because the people I work with expect me to wear a shirt and tie. Now, you know what's best for your business, but just make sure each and every time you are projecting the image that you're trying to project. Media coverage, how are you going to get this? How are you going to get your message out there? And it's a matter of communicating with the people who are involved in your business. You'll be surprised that people, when they're trying to present, I don't know, whether it's a new catering company, and they'll make contact with the motoring correspondent. You'd be amazed how many times that happens. It's simple common sense, but so many of us forget it. Make sure that when you do communicate with the local paper or whatever, that you're talking to the right people, the people who know something about your business and the people who want to know about your business to tell it out there. It's very important you make this contact at all times. Media coverage, we all know what advertising is. Advertising, you have to be consistent, you have to be regular, and of course it's very expensive. But we all know how that works. But if you're saying how good you are, people know it's advertising. The way this works is, if somebody else tells the world how good you are, a third party, public relations company, or whoever, then your credibility soars because somebody else is saying the same thing about you. And it's less expensive as well. So it's important to bear that in mind. Advertising, fantastic, but again, it can be scattergun. You're never quite sure who's seeing it. Are the right people seeing what it is you're trying to project? So when you work through a public relations company or a public relations idea or concept, you're targeting all the time. You're making sure that the people you want to connect with are actually seeing what you want to do. I've already said that you can bring up people or make contact with people, flatter the journalists. We all love flattery. Say, oh, I liked your article then, build up a relationship. But if that's not the way you want to go, and that takes time, it takes research, it takes homework, there is the old-fashioned press release. I call it old-fashioned because it's been around so long, but it's very, very important and it still works today. But again, you'd be amazed when people write their press releases, they don't put contact numbers on there. In this world of ours, there are only ever 5 questions you can ever be asked. Everything else is a derivative of that. 5 questions. Who, what, why, when, and where. Simple. Who, what, why, when, and where covers everything. So if you're writing out a press release, make sure who, what, why, when, and where are on the piece of paper. Give people a chance to find you. Let them know what it's all about. And make sure it is a story. If you're writing a press release about taking on a couple of school kids, that's fine for the school kids and the parents, but it's of no interest to anybody else. So you've got to find the story that resonates. One simple way of doing that is to ask the so what question. Each time you think of a storyline, well, so what? Is that important? And then just keep going through. So what? So what? So what? Eventually, after the 10th so what, you'll find that nugget. You'll find the story that will actually appeal to a wider audience. Very important to do that. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the time of the media by writing something that isn't of interest. It may be fascinating to you, but is it of interest to a wider audience? Again, it's common sense. So really try and think about it. Now, number 7 I got down here is newsjacking. It's an American phrase. I don't like Americanisms, but it really is quite an interesting concept. It's getting your story on the shirt tails, if you like, of an ongoing story. I'll give you an example. When Monarch Airlines went bust, we worked with a travel agency. And the difference between a travel agency and, say, online travel booking is that the agency knows who their clients are, where their customers are, and they can make contact with them. Now, a couple were booked on Monarch, and they were on this so-called holiday of a lifetime. Fantastic. But suddenly, the holiday of a lifetime was going to be ruined by the Monarch crash. So they were able to make contact with this couple and say, look, don't worry, we know where you are, we'll sort it all out, we won't spoil a minute of your special holiday, and you'll be able to come back on the right flight on the right day. So you're tugging yourself on the story of the day, but that's a good, positive, human interest story. And that's called newsjacking. Look at the papers in a different way, listen to the radio in a different way, watch the television in a different way. You'll see a lot of newsjacking. It's not so much getting your company out there, it's just involving yourself with the conversation. And this is all like networking on a grand scale. When you network, you don't meet Mark for the first time and say, hello Mark, I want to sell you my media training course. But so many people try and do that. That's not the way it works. You've got to build up a relationship, you've got to build up trust. People have got to like you. And that's, as we all know, we like to do business with people that we like. And that brings us to social media. Which is vital. Yellow Pages is dead. I don't know if anybody here still works with Yellow Pages, but we don't follow it anymore, do we? We want anything, we go onto Google. We Google it. There was a story in the paper yesterday. This young lady had a mark on her hand. All the doctors said, don't worry, it's nothing. She Googled it. She compared pictures with pictures. And lo and behold, she had cancer. And so Dr. Google held her out, sorted her out. We've all got to be involved in social media, whether it's Twitter, whether it's LinkedIn, whatever it happens to be, get involved, because that's where your market is. That's where the marketplace is. Get involved with the conversations. Follow the people who are making interesting comments about the job you're in. Add to those comments. It's networking. Let people get to know you. And then when they have a problem to be solved, they'll think of you. They'll come to you. And at the end of the day, that's all we're doing. All of us, whether we're providing services or goods or whatever, we're solving somebody's problem. That's it, in a nutshell. So if somebody has a problem and they become aware of you on social media, they'll come to you and say, oh, I heard what you were saying, so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'll come to you and see if you can solve, whoops, my egg's there, so solve the problem. The go-to person. We try and make our clients, our customers, the go-to people. You are the experts in your field. Nobody knows more about your businesses than you do. And getting you involved in phone-ins or getting blogs into the right papers, this type of thing, is getting your name out there. It's the same thing all the time. It's getting people to become aware of what you do. Now, if you work in complex fields like law or finance or whatever, if you're able to answer complex questions in a very straightforward, succinct manner, you are gold dust. Every newsroom in the land will want to use you to deliver these very straightforward answers to complex questions. Because nobody else understands it in the newsroom, you are the expert. Now, we run training courses to help people make the most of every opportunity, but you might be okay at doing it yourself. And we try and get our clients onto phone-ins, this type of thing. We keep an ear out for their subjects to get them involved. You perhaps get a name check at the beginning and the end, but that's not the important point. The point is, you're telling people your expertise. You're helping them overcome problems. You're giving them advice. And so when they do have a problem, they'll think, oh, I heard Mark on the radio. I'll go to him to help sort me out. It's that constant process. It's that constant process. And it's the old cliche, but it's true. Public relations, it's not a sprint. It is a marathon. It takes time. It's the drip, drip effect. You've got to work at it. You've got to be consistent. It's no good blogging once every 3 months or tweeting once every week. It's got to be consistent. Your message has to be standard, and it has to be presented all the time. All the time. Otherwise, it isn't going to work. It's got to be there all the time so that people get to know you. It's like coming to a networking meeting every other week or whatever. It's that consistency that helps people learn who you are, what you are, can we trust you, and they want to do business with you. And it all is there under the public relations banner, if you like. It helps you build your business. It helps you increase your turnover. It helps you increase your income. And it boosts your profits. And that's why profit starts with PR.